I've never thought about that. You have not learned that lesson until you have proved it through action. We say that we're okay with failure, but we have such a hard time allowing other people to fail. Your 20s are reckless. What? What can you do without me?
Exactly.
The whole point of me teaching you is so that you know how to do it when I'm gone. Having walls down doesn't mean that you're naive or weak or anything like that. It is so much harder to have walls down than have them up. Just choke a little bit right there. Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here with Jane and Mark and Blue Box 29. Welcome in. Today is January 26th. We're getting to the end of January already in this first year of our cycle. It's gonna fly by. This first year, we're really laying the foundation for all the years to come. All of these stories can be utilized year after year if we really want to, or you can branch out and get other stories that may fit that, which we'll be doing other seasons and other styles, so we'll have that as well. But anyways, today for January, the seeker crossing the veil and the month between worlds. Today is January 26th, so that means today is all about the teacher. We're in week 4, the return, and today is the teacher. Our theme is that wisdom is passed on. Oftentimes, we don't seem to remember that that's the key, is to pass on what happened, pass on the truth, pass on the wisdom. Today is about those teachers passing on that wisdom. Our 4 stories come from Hindu, Taoist, African, and Incan folklore today. So we'll see you after these 4 stories. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Krishna instructs Arjuna on the battlefield. In Hindu tradition, wisdom is not offered in comfort. It is given when action can no longer be avoided. The battlefield of Kurukshetra was already formed when the teaching began. Armies stood facing one another, banners lifted, conch shells sounded across the dust. Brothers faced brothers, teachers faced students. The world had reached a moment where delay itself had become a form of harm. Arjuna, prince of the Pandavas and peerless archer, stood in his chariot between the 2 armies. When he asked his charioteer to draw them forward, he did not expect what he saw. On both sides stood those he loved and revered, cousins, uncles, elders, and teachers who had shaped him. His strength left him. His bow slipped from his hand. His breath tightened, his vision blurred. Arjuna, trained for duty in battle, could no longer act. He declared that he would not fight. Victory tasted like sin. Duty felt like cruelty. Life itself seemed fractured beyond repair. Krishna listened. Krishna, who was no ordinary charioteer, did not comfort Arjuna with reassurance. He did not tell him the choice was easy. He did not remove the weight of consequence. He taught. Krishna began by correcting Arjuna's understanding of life and death. The soul, he said, is eternal. Bodies are worn and discarded like garments. To mourn what is not destroyed is to misunderstand existence. Grief born of attachment clouds discernment. But Krishna did not stop at metaphysics. He spoke of dharma. Arjuna's duty was not violence for its own sake. It was responsibility aligned with truth. To abandon action out of fear of consequence was not compassion. It was avoidance. Dharma required engagement, not withdrawal. Krishna warned Arjuna against action driven by desire or hatred, but he also warned against inaction driven by despair. Wisdom lay in right action without attachment to outcome. One must act fully, skillfully, and with devotion, while releasing control over results. You have the right to action, Krishna taught, but never to its fruits. As Arjuna listened, Krishna revealed more. He spoke of paths and wisdom, devotion and disciplined action. He explained that knowledge unshared becomes pride, and devotion without action becomes emptiness. True wisdom must move through the world. Finally, Krishna revealed his divine form. Arjuna saw countless faces, countless arms, the cosmos contained within one being. Creation and destruction moved together. Time itself stood revealed. The vision was overwhelming, terrifying, and clarifying all at once. This was not given to elevate Arjuna. It was given to prepare him. Krishna did not command Arjuna to fight. He asked if Arjuna now understood. Arjuna bowed. His confusion had not vanished, but it had been ordered. He lifted his bow not because the outcome was guaranteed, but because he now understood his role within a larger truth. The teaching was complete. Wisdom, Krishna showed, is not meant to be hoarded in stillness. It must be carried forward through action, through teaching, and through responsibility lived openly in the world. Story 2. Laozi leads the way at the Western Gate. In Taoist tradition, the greatest teachers do not gather disciples. They depart. Laozi was already one when the world noticed him. He served quietly as an archivist in the Zhou court, keeper of records few bothered to read, and wisdom few bothered to seek. He did not argue doctrine. He did not preach reform. He observed the unraveling of order and understood it would not be corrected by force or persuasion. When corruption deepened and ritual lost its meaning, Laozi chose to leave. He mounted a water buffalo and traveled west towards the frontier, away from power, away from noise, away from explanation. His withdrawal was not escape. It was instruction through example. In Taoist understanding, knowing when to stop is itself wisdom. At the western border, a gatekeeper named Yin Shi recognized him. Yin Shi sensed that Laozi carried something rare. He asked him not for a sermon, but for a record. If Laozi was leaving the known world, then the way he carried should not vanish unspoken. Laozi agreed. There, at the gate, between the ordered realm and the unknown beyond, he wrote what would become the Tao Te Ching, the text that was brief, spare, and resistant to certainty. It did not explain the Tao, it pointed toward it. It spoke of water yielding yet enduring, of rules who govern least, of strength found in emptiness, and of wisdom that does not announce itself. The Tao that can be spoken, it warned, is not the eternal Tao. Laozi offered no commentary. He did not clarify meaning. He did not ensure correct interpretation. He understood that wisdom cannot be controlled once released. Teaching in this tradition is an act of trust. After writing, Laozi handed the text to Yin Shi. Then he left. He passed beyond the gate and disappeared from record. Some say he traveled into distant lands. Others say he became an immortal. Taoist tradition does not insist on a conclusion. The ending is left open, as all true teachings are. What remains is the lesson of his departure. Laozi did not stay to be revered, did not build a school around his name. He placed wisdom where it could be found by those ready to meet it and walked away. The teaching outlived the teacher because it was not bound to him. In Taoism, wisdom is passed on not by assertion, but by release. The teacher's final act is often silence. Story 3. The griots who carried history in their voices. In West African tradition, wisdom does not live in books. It lives in people. Among the Mande peoples of present-day Mali and surrounding regions, history, law, genealogy, and moral instruction were entrusted to griots known as Jelu. They were not entertainers in the casual sense. They were living archives. Their voices carried the memory of nations. The griot was born into the role. The calling could not be claimed or abandoned. It was inherited through bloodlines trained for generations to remember accurately, speak responsibly, and teach without distortion. A griot's duty was not to invent, but to preserve. Forgetting was considered a form of violence. From childhood, griots memorized vast genealogies, epics, and praise songs. They learned the rise and fall of kings, the mistakes that led to collapse, the alliances that preserved peace. They were trained not only in speech, but in discernment, when to speak, when to remain silent, and how to shape truth so it could be received. The most renowned of these preserved histories is the epic of Sunjata. Sunjata Keita founded the Mali Empire. He was born weak and unable to walk. He was mocked and dismissed, his destiny doubted. It was the griots who remembered the prophecy of the rise, who spoke his name when others tried to erase it, and who preserved the knowledge of his lineage until the moment he could stand and claim his role. When Sunjata became king, he did not rule without griots. They stood beside him not as flatterers, but as reminders. A griot could praise a king into greatness or shame him back into alignment. Their authority came not from force, but from memory. A ruler who silenced a griot risks losing legitimacy itself. Griots taught through story rather than command. They reminded communities who they had been so they could choose who they would become. In times of conflict, griots recalled past consequences. In times of pride, they recalled the fall of arrogant kings. Wisdom was delivered as continuity, not instruction. The voice of a griot was never casual. Words were weighed, truth was shaped to endure repetition without erosion. To pass on wisdom incorrectly was considered a breach of duty to both ancestors and descendants. In this tradition, teaching is custodianship. The griot does not own the story, they serve it. Their wisdom is measured not by originality, but by fidelity. What they pass on must outlive them intact. Story 4. The elders who taught the mountains to remember. In Indian tradition, wisdom is not abstract. It is placed. Among the Inca and pre-Inca peoples of the Andes, teaching did not occur apart from land, lineage, and season. Knowledge was not separated from daily life. It was woven into agriculture, ritual, and memory. The elders were not scholars in isolation. They were keepers of continuity, entrusted with carrying what the mountains themselves had taught. These elders were known not by title alone, but by relationship. They stood between generations as mediators between the living, the ancestors, and the land. Their authority did not come from conquest or charisma. It came from having lived long enough to see patterns repeat. In Andean cosmology, the world was animated by Pachamama, the living earth, and ordered by Aini, sacred reciprocity. Nothing was taken without return. Nothing was taught without responsibility. Knowledge existed to maintain balance between humans, animals, weather, and soil. Elders taught by walking. They showed younger generations when to plant by reading stars and wind. They taught how to terrace hillsides so water would flow rather than destroy. They demonstrated how to store food against famine and how to honor the dead so memory would not fracture the living. Teaching was practical and ceremonial. Rites of passage were overseen by elders who ensured that knowledge arrived at the proper time. Certain truths were not given early. Others were withheld entirely unless maturity and humility had been proven. Wisdom revealed too soon was considered dangerous, capable of disrupting balance. The elders spoke often of the Apas, the mountain spirits who watched over each region. Mountains were not metaphor, they were teachers. Their endurance modeled patience, their avalanches warned against excess. Elders listened to these signs and taught others how to do the same. History itself was taught through place. Battles, migrations, and alliances were remembered by stones, paths, and shrines. To forget the land was to forget the lesson. Teaching meant returning repeatedly to the same locations so memory could anchor itself. Spanish chroniclers later recorded fragments of these traditions, but much remained untranslatable. Andean wisdom resisted removal from context. It could not be fully written down without losing its grounding. Even after conquest, elders continued to teach quietly. They preserved songs, farming techniques, and rituals under the surface of imposed structures. Wisdom survived because it was embedded in practice rather than proclamation. In Andean tradition, a teacher is one who ensures survival across generations. Knowledge is not passed on to be admired. It is passed on so life continues. Hey everybody, welcome back in. You are with Jane and Mark of Blue Box 29. Today is January 26th. We are all about the teacher today. Today's daily thread is that across these traditions, wisdom is never meant to remain private. Krishna teaches when action can no longer be avoided. Laozi leaves instruction behind and refuses ownership of it. Griot preserves history so identity does not fracture. Andean elders embed knowledge in land so it cannot be lost. Each story reveals that learning becomes wisdom only when it is given forward. What is not passed on eventually disappears. So true. Number of different lessons that were taught in today's 4 stories. Not only wisdom in itself and the purpose of it, but giving it to the land, the people, the individual. Our first story, we have heard this one before. We've seen Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield before. Seeing the people that you love on both sides.
That would be so difficult.
We've had this talk before, and we've had this talk with other people where we are so quick to ask for war.
Yeah.
In America, we forget how terrible it is to have war on your land. You can't escape from it, and it is brother against brother, teacher against students, and you can't escape it. There is no way to escape it. And this was, you're seeing this, and your beliefs are that one side is right and one is wrong. So it's not about, and this story was word for word what you and I just went through the other day, of you have no right to the outcome. Your only right is to action. You have the right to act upon it now, but after that, it's out of your hands.
Right.
And to try to change the outcome or be upset about the outcome, what is right is right. And what you stand for, you must stand for firm. And the consequences are just out of your control.
Right, and then you have to just accept whatever, even if it isn't what you wanted. Mm-hmm. Boo-hoo, move on. Because who are you to decide what should be best? What is the best? You put it out there, then just go like this. Surrender, like that's part of it. How many times have we talked about surrender? That's pretty much what this is saying. Surrender.
I just wanted to read it again. Without Wisdom, Krishna showed, is not meant to be hoarded in stillness. It must be carried forward through action, through teaching, and through responsibility lived openly in the world. To live openly with your responsibility, to give that wisdom, to make that action, to control destiny and fate, and to control the future, because that's what it is. If you do nothing now and it continues, it will just continue. Other people will suffer. You know, he's standing in between his loved ones and has to go, yeah, but it has to be this way. I just think that that's the tough part about it, is the responsibility that comes with wisdom, and how we always want to take the wheel, but we forget what comes with it. And Krishna just reminds him that it's your story, not going to force you either way. Just shedding light on the situation. Choose. And he chose wisdom. He chose what was right. And so it says that these Hindu teachings emphasize wisdom enacted through duty. Krishna instruction affirms that knowledge gained must be passed on through right action. Learning is incomplete until it becomes lived responsibility. I've never thought about that. You have not learned that lesson until you have proved it through action.
Right.
I've never thought of that before. I just always think of, it hurt, and then walking away. Just like, oh, okay, I see what the lesson was, but did I truly learn from it? If I haven't been tested by it yet.
That's so big.
I've never thought of it before.
Like, you can say all day, I won't do that again. But until it's right in front of you, how do you know?
You don't ever want to be faced with those things. So it's just almost like, I don't know what I would do. I would rather analyze it then, because I don't want to overthink it before it's even a thing.
Sometimes that could be worse. Almost.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to make the spur of the moment decision. What is right now? What do I have to do now? Sometimes that is it. Story 2. Laozi's wisdom is enduring because it was offered without insistence. The teacher's role ends when the way has been pointed toward, not possessed. It's a truth that cannot be spoken aloud. He wrote it down, gave it to him, and left. And we don't know what happened to him. The ending is left open. But Taoist traditions and their teachings are open-ended teachings. It's the lesson. It's this teaching. So what was beyond was their story beyond. It wasn't meant for us to carry.
Yeah, right.
And there is a lot that we see with our community. We see lessons through other people. And we think that we know people because of those lessons, but there is so much more. The teacher's role ends when the way has been pointed toward, not possessed. Here you go. That is what teachers should be like. Like you said, a lot of the things of you help. Yes, there are times when we are in need of help, even when we don't know it sometimes. But you'll never know unless you do it on your own. And you have to try. Sometimes you just gotta step back and say, you've gotta try this on your own.
Yep.
You can do it. You will do it on your own. And to be okay with, we say that we're okay with failure, but we have such a hard time allowing other people to fail.
Right? Isn't that silly?
Like, we don't want them to because, oh, well, I didn't want you to be embarrassed. Any reason is hard.
Yeah,
because,
like, I went through it, so I don't want you to go through it. But man,
but succeed
think
or
about
fail,
the
I want to know if it
things-
was on me.
Think about the things that have came from your failure, you know, where you were homeless or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that triumph to go from that to
Yeah,
this.
and to
you know,
like when I lived in my car and I had friends afterwards. I ended up moving in with one of my closest friends from high school because she ended up kind of catching on. I had people that I worked with that didn't say anything, but it was pretty well known between them and I that they knew, and that I knew that they knew. Anyways, I had friends after that were upset and sad for me because they would have helped. And why didn't I ask? And because I put myself there and I knew that they would get me out.
It's almost pride too.
Yeah, there was that pride of just embarrassed that I got myself here, but I gotta learn from this because I do not want to feel this way again. I mean, you have friends and you bounce from like house to house and stuff, and you do it right. Like people don't catch on usually, but yeah, it just goes to show that sometimes you have to get through it on your own. Some things that you get yourself into, some paths you go down, the choices you choose, you have to just get through it, endure it. And so, yeah, it was like that. Where, yeah, I knew you would help. I knew I could have had money or people to come get me in a second. But there was so much of my foundation of who I am today that survived that death, that came from those times. So I'm not upset. Yeah, it sucked. Lost a lot of weight. You know, living off Red Bulls and my 1 or 2 meals a day, too, if I worked a double shift. So it was like tough, but you can make it through. I didn't have animals or kids or anything, so that was positive, and I had a car.
Yeah. Dude, I went through some crazy stuff in my 20s.
You just are like, what? Your 20s are reckless. What? What? Like, you go through your teens and you're like, yeah, I'm young and I'm wild. I've died at least once a year in my 20s. Like, I
did some dumb and fun stuff in my 20s.
met quite a few fun teachers, though. Okay, let's move right into the third one. So, West African teaching traditions emphasize memory as responsibility. Wisdom is not self-expression, but stewardship. The griot teaches by ensuring that what was learned is not lost, altered, or forgotten as it passes forward. It's not about originality, it's about passing on the truth. It is about standing with the truth of the people and the land and preserving the knowledge, right? So these griots, they preserved the knowledge of the founder of their empire until he was ready. They knew it was him, but they knew he wasn't ready yet. And so not only that, but they stood by him during his reign. The knowledge, it was never to be changed, no matter what. It doesn't matter if times change or not. Let this be our history now. Do not let it change. There's a reason, right? Lessons were learned, lessons were taught. And it was so imperative that that never went away. We never lose sight of who we are, where we came from. Just now made me think of Odin and how he was scared for his ravens, but specifically memory, because memory is lost. He was scared that memory would be lost. And it is our responsibility to carry it forward. So that was a major thing moving forward in all these cultures as well, was our memory can't be lost. Our memory, our people. Story 4 teaches that they emphasize wisdom as survival knowledge. Elders do not teach to inspire abstraction, but to ensure continuity. What is learned must be capable of sustaining life, land, and memory long after the teacher is gone. What can you do without me?
Exactly.
The whole point of me teaching you is so that you know how to do it when I'm gone. When I am not here, you can do it.
That's that whole saying, when the student becomes the master. As the master, that's what you want.
Yeah, and we
As
take
the
that as
teacher, that's what you
insult.
want. Yeah, like,
We never
no,
want the
become
student
that.
to surpass us or to say something or to correct
That's
us.
because that's the way society has formed ourselves to not grow leaders and people to conquest things for themselves, because we fear that if you're just doing this for yourselves, then what about us? What about me? But what I think we misunderstand and what we're missing out on is, if everybody was doing a bunch of stuff for themselves, they'd be super happy for everybody doing stuff for themselves, that everybody would just be helping everybody do stuff for themselves.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh man, here, oh cool. But no, we fight and we push everybody down, and it holds us back as a society. Whereas if we were helping everybody and cheering everybody on to do your best and do cool stuff, man, imagine where we would be right now.
This is all action-based, this Incan one. My lessons I'm going to be teaching you are going to be done through the land. You're going to keep it alive by keeping our memory alive. This is how you do it. And so teaching the lessons with the land. Yeah, there's a reason behind everything we do. And it's just that direct hands-on teaching, right? So it took us 2,000 years in the Common Era to figure out the kids learn better for hands-on. But then these ancient civilizations that were hunting and gathering, they knew that. That was just instinct. Come with me, I need to teach you something. The agriculture, the law, the harmony, the socialization. And we talk about how we treat others and stuff. And we don't nearly analyze, oh, well, if you act like this, if you share something that people don't like, they'll be mad at you or you'll hurt their feelings. The real thing is, when you say something that other people won't like, there are going to be people that don't like you.
Yeah.
There are going to be some rooms where you are not welcome in. So you have to live with that. What is so hard about saying that? Instead, it's, oh, we're going to hurt their feelings. You're going to make them upset. Or it's not the place. Yeah, if it happened here, if it was addressed here, I'm gonna name it here.
When we're one of the biggest and only countries being like that, we are setting ourselves up for so much failure later on.
Being like what?
Just worrying about everybody's feelings.
Oh, yeah. How can you live off of all of this area? I think people would really love their hometowns more if they were like that.
Yeah.
If it was more centered on the land and the community and how can we help?
Yeah, if we had like a legit farmer's market here.
Yeah, these are your options if you're here to live
together.
We blame it on the harsh conditions we live in, but in all actuality, it's just brand name. We are so obsessed in today's day and age of, I have to have the brand name. And it's like, why?
Right. Just the research of the clothing that we wear. And I always thought it was funny. So, like, if you look at certain Bible quotes, right? And I'm not sure which quote it is, but God is pretty much saying, and I forget whose book, what book, anything, but it says that don't mix your fabrics when you're wearing them and whatever. Well, now, how many ever years later, right? They're doing research, and I saw it recently that, like, you're not supposed to mix your type of clothes that you're wearing. So if you're wearing cotton or wool, you're not supposed to mix and match or wear silk within it. You're only supposed to wear like one type or one or two, right? I forget what it says in the Bible. So now they did studies, like they put clamps on them and they wanted to see what it vibrated at. because everything has a vibration, right? People are putting these clothes on, and it's actually a negative vibration. So it lowers your personal physical vibration, and you end up performing less than what you would be able to, because it's lowering, or you're possibly lowering your abilities.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it was a funny video I saw, and it was like somebody was in the video, they're like, I bet you'd be really upset right now if you're an athlete and you're wearing this. And then it's like, everybody's wearing it.
Yeah.
Everybody's wearing it.
Because that makes you legitimate.
Yeah.
Way too concerned with possessional things because we lack the ability to do anything on our own with the land, you know. Having no connection to that, we try to get connections to all these obsolete things. That's why we see these places that are living in more extreme environments where they don't have this kind of stuff are actually happier.
Yeah.
Because you're forced to be a community.
Right.
We will live or die together.
Well, just like that woman, she was like, they didn't get enough firewood. It was a really bad winter.
Yeah.
Like, they probably got enough for a hard winter, but not a really hard one. And lost all of her older sisters, and then lost her dad. Like,
lost her brothers, right? I thought it was her brothers.
Was it I thought
brothers
she said
and dad.
Either way, whoever it was.
It doesn't matter, right?
So sad. You see stuff like that, but then you also see them doing their little celebrations, and they dance, and
that was their home, and that's their life. She said their life is like the snow on the mountains.
You never know when it's going to melt.
You can't wallow in it. You can't do anything but just live and appreciate what you have and appreciate everything around you. And just know that this is what it is to live. But yet they're still living there.
Right.
Because they're happy. It's genuine happiness, and they're more focused on survival and community, that they are more appreciative.
Yeah.
They don't need possessions. Okay, so the reflection question for today is, what am I meant to pass down? So what is it that you think that you are meant to pass down, that you are to teach? You've talked about that quite a bit, and I think healing, just to teach people how to heal or heal
the fact that we
themselves.
can do it without modern medicine. Do we need modern medicine? Yeah, I'm sure we do sometimes.
But how to heal ourselves with our own bodies, our own minds.
With our own bodies, our own minds, with each other, with Earth. I mean, there's so many things within the Earth that heal us that we're not allowed to go to. We want to be able to, if we so choose, heal ourselves, to freely do that without being scared to do it. And I believe if enough of us believe that, it will start to happen.
I think that's what comes with that is love, happiness, joy. I don't know yet, truly, what I'm meant to pass down. I think that I used to know that a lot. I think that I'm really going through my death stage still.
Yeah. And I truly believe that I want to pass down what I said was
Healing.
We are healing. But the biggest thing behind the healing thing, though, is love.
Yeah, and the
Do it
I
with
am. Don't
love.
forget your I am purpose.
Exactly.
You always talk about that. You live by it.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I'm going to meditate with it, you know.
But you will meditate with me when I'm sleeping. Like you will come meditate by me. There'll be times where I'm not sleeping and I'm just laying there and I can feel that you've come back to meditate next to me, because it is a I am, we are thing.
Well, I just like to use your energy, you know. I feel like it almost like supercharges it. And since then, now I don't even have to close my eyes to get into a meditative state anymore. I'm able to just make my brain feel that meditation. So who knows what else I can do now. But a lot of it is because I've supercharged myself with your energy while doing it. So
I think a lot of that comes with being open. The open communication, when there are no secrets, there are no walls. Having walls down doesn't mean that you're naive or weak or anything like that. It is so much harder to have walls down than have them up.
yeah.
Because you are saying, here I am. And we can grow and learn together and we can be happy together, but we're going to hurt together. And so there is that too. And when you are like that, I do think that energy shifts easier because the open communication means open energy.
Right.
So I think that's a lot of what it is as well. But like I said, I truly do. We go through all these and they are day to day, but one of these stages could last a long time.
Yeah.
And you could have lived all of the month of January in 9 months,
Right.
and in different orders. And like I just said, we're in the return. And there are days where I feel like we are returning. But then I feel like you said today, when my dad was here, there are days where I am still dying. That old you is. Until you let it go officially, you have to really just let it die and burn and feel the pain. And then you return. And so all these are teaching us now you have to do something with it. So before I tell us what the daily task is, because it's just right with that, is all these stories taught us today is that wisdom fulfills its purpose only when it outlives you. So all of this will mean nothing if it doesn't outlive us. The name may die, but the lesson won't. And that's what these are all saying is the name, the end, it didn't matter. The lesson is what you need. Because names can be changed. Names can be, people can be attacked for their character. We could think someone's a villain in history and they could be a huge hero. Someone could have been a hero but massacred thousands, I think that's something I'm going to think about is what I want to pass down as I'm returning,
And and don't feel like that answer has to be solid. Let it be fluid. What does it feel like in this moment?
And it might be
then what does
many
it feel like
different
in the
things.
next one? It could be. Why can't it be? Like, why does it have to be? Why give it a limitation?
I probably have already passed down some things that
Oh, I'll guarantee you have. You've instilled things into people that, man, the way you talked about your students and like teaching them and how you would teach them and the way you teach me stuff, like you've definitely passed things down. You made an effect. So just know that you already have. So it's now what's the next fun thing that you get to choose now? Maybe not. Maybe it's just you living your life and somebody sees it. That's what you're passionate about. It's this
that
right
was
here.
Just in my head right before you said maybe it's you. I was in my head was thinking maybe it is just time that I choose me, like how I told you. Yeah, teaching was cool and stuff, and I did enjoy it. I did have a passion for it, but I never went into it with the passion. I went into it because it was easy.
Right.
And
crazy, huh? To think to become a teacher is easy.
Yeah, and it was. It was the easiest path for me. And that's my circumstances, I'm not saying it's the easiest path.
Right, for everybody.
But for me, it was. And, I mean, like I said, my senior presentation, it was when we were still making portfolios about who we want to become. I love that in our district now, they do a portfolio on who they have become because of those 4 years. So I love that. Who am I as someone that serves? It's more of that 4-H thing. How have my hands served others? Right? How has my heart shown love, shared love?
I love that.
How have I
That's
become a
awesome.
leader and stuff like that? It's not exactly 4-H stuff, but that's what it is. Anyways, when I did it, it was about what we want to become. And I told you this before. I played a video on I have no idea. Because there's so many different jobs that haven't even been created yet. That how can we possibly prepare students for things that aren't even there yet? There are so many things that will come out. And in our day and age with technology, it's changing faster.
Yeah.
And so to set limitations is foolish, I think, too. I showed that video because I didn't know what I wanted to be. I thought it was terrifying to choose that at 17. To be asked to solidify your dreams. And like if you don't make it, you should feel ashamed. Or if they change, like, oh, but why did they change?
I had no clue.
There was nothing gave me passion yet. And so I chose all of this stuff that was easy and convenient, and I think that's why.
Isn't it sad that we in society we don't try to help people work towards their passion?
It's just you better find something so you can make money, and then you just get stuck. A day-to-day thing or something that was easy becomes your whole life.
Because
but maybe that
so
is
routine.
just, I need to start thinking about some of the stuff for me. Like, so it's been a year. I started subbing when I was 18, right? So like there's all that stuff of working right away into that job, but stepping away from it I was away from it for 5 months, and we published a book. We wrote and then published a book within that time frame.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like total of 10 months, but still 5 months in. And now we're doing this podcast 26 days in. And it's like all this stuff that I always wanted to try. Yeah, and writing another book and always wanted to try that I was scared to because it wasn't realistic.
Right.
Allowing people to set limitations for you. Something I passed down too is that it's never too late and it's never too early.
Yeah.
For your death. Because I would have rather be in this situation now than 20 years down the road when it's too late. And if nothing changed, that's just scary to think about.
Right.
How we get put in these things because instead of our teachers letting us go to try it on our own, they try to guide us too much. And that often happens when we love someone too much. We don't want them to fail, so we don't even allow them the opportunity to.
Yeah, and sometimes we truly have to fail. We have to fall.
We have to hurt. We really do. And I'm not saying
but
all
I
the
think
time
that's because
we
also want, I think we chose that, and I think that's just kind of the way Earth is set up, though.
Like accepting and wanting to accept all these things we can feel.
It's that's so true. We can feel it, you know?
So we'll wrap it up with our daily task with you guys today. You can just teach one small thing you know to someone else today. That's it.
That's exciting.
You're going to allow yourself to teach them something.
Yeah.
All right, and just remember that wisdom fulfills its purpose when it outlives you.
That is so powerful.
It's not about you.
No, it's not.
It's about we.
100%.
Anyways, thank you guys for joining us in Folklore and Flourish today. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Love you guys. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for walking this journey with me today. These stories are more than folklore. They are the heartbeat of our world building, the inspiration behind our characters, and the soul of the Legends Reborn Chronicles. By exploring these tales, we honor the past, ignite the present, and breathe life into the legends we're creating together. To see more of Mark and I, as well as additional scenes, discussions, and healing, check the links below that will lead you to our various social media platforms. Please also feel free to ask
any questions or leave any comments in the episode below or in future episodes to come. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may your path be guided by wonder, curiosity, and the magic of the stories that came before us. Blessings, and I'll see you on our next folklore journey.